I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are Velocities in Music via IMTV. Today, guys, we're going to do a 2011 release by the band The Boxer Rebellion. This album is called The Cold Still. Now, if I were to describe the sound of The Cold Still, I would direct you directly in the direction of Coldplay, Radiohead, David Gray, and then if you took the vocals, I'd say David Gray will cover it, but then you can also have Jim James, not Rick James. My Morning Jacket. But overall, I think that the closest comparison sonically to any band would be Coldplay, which calling it The Cold Still really kind of makes sense. To me, I really wish that this has a very arena sound to it, to the whole Brit rock thing, and it really makes me think that, you know, all the shortcomings I felt that Coldplay displayed on their album X and Y, their third album, I really kind of wish that they would have put out an album more like The Cold Still, and I wish, you know, honestly, that The Cold Still that would have been more of a complete listen. But Tom, what do you think?
I think that's a good assessment of the sound. I think the only amendment I would make to that with the whole Coldplay comparison is I think that this is I got a little bit more of a folksy vibe from this.
It is.
I mean, you can't really say that it's like a folk album, but there are some more elements of that. Really, I think that this is a good album, but it's not amazing. I think that it's kind of unoriginal in the sound and the styles that they're going for. I mean, you were able to rattle off so many artists that you could compare aspects of this to. And while it's a good amalgamation of those sounds, it doesn't come together to make an end product that is particularly groundbreaking. Still, though, it's an enjoyable listen. These are well-written songs. There's some good builds in these songs, build into some good intense parts, and I love, if you've watched this show at all, you know that I love contrast, dynamic contrast in albums and
that's
songs.
My favorite thing about the songwriting that the Boxer Rebellion presents on this album is just how there's just different levels of dynamics. That's something that contrast you don't see on a lot of music nowadays, and that's something that I appreciate. The other thing I really liked is how they kept switching, or they would even kind of combine a couple of different songwriting and song structuring strategies, I guess you would call them, to where they kind of do the whole verse chorus thing, but then they also kind of do the whole build thing where they're building and crescendoing throughout the whole thing, and they mix the two together. So what you'll have is you'll have a couple, maybe a couple verses in a chorus, or a verse chorus, and then a big build at the end. So it's kind of an amalgamation of both those two songwriting styles. But they use a lot of variety of instruments. There's a lot of guitars here, and you know, it's just there's a lot of really good songwriting that kind of blends the structures together and allows the differences in the songs to really come out. For instance, like the first couple tracks, No Harm is this really cathartic opener to the album, and then Step Out of the Car, which is the single, is this really rocking, probably the most rocking track on the album. And then track 4, you know, they bring it down. They're able to do some really soft, you know, melodies in there, and then really build upon that with some big percussion and cymbals and guitars to make a big cathartic release. And you find that throughout the album, and that's something that I really appreciate. But I agree with you, Tom. It does come off a little unoriginal. I kind of wish they would have shot a little higher, played it a little less safe. Right now, I'm kind of feeling like this is just on the verge of being pretty good, and there's just a few things holding it back. I'm feeling kind of a upper 60s, 67. I don't know about you.
I'm going to go 71.
Not 61, 71.
No, 71. I think this is a good album. Still, the just unoriginality of it kind of kills it for me, but still these are well-written songs, and you can't deny that.
And it's just a little bit too safe. Now, if you guys want to take a listen to this, if you haven't heard the Boxer Rebellion or the Cold Still, you can definitely check it out. If you go to the Boxer Rebellion's website, they are putting it on their website. They're streaming it from their website, so check it out. It's at least worth a listen or two, I think, and then we'd love to hear your feedback. Upper 60s for a score from us. That typically means that it's good, not great, needs a little work in some areas. This, I think that we're going to keep hitting on this if we keep going, but the Cold Still just needed to step out of the shadow of Coldplay, Radiohead, and David Gray. That really is what it comes down to. But if you like that sound, I think that you'll really like this album. I found myself listening to this album a lot just because I like the sound. This is like one of my favorite styles of music, and I found it accessible. So definitely worth checking out. It's just as a whole, I just don't think it cuts it. So let us know what you think at www www.velocitiesofmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesofmusic. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.